Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. I can't wait to speak to you about tonight's episode. Back on form again. Some of that drama that we had at the end, absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait for tomorrow. But for tonight's episode, where do you want to start?
I'll tell you what, Dave, I think tonight's episode could have been the one that had everything. We had the obviously Eden and Grant bust up, dust up, headbutt. It was cut, obviously, what really happened in about episode 15 and 16. This, for me, Dave, was better than that because it just didn't stop. I think we've got to start. We'll start off a bit slow, if that's okay with you. The Amelia and Josh situation, when Josh was a bit pissed off with what she'd said the day before. I didn't actually see that. I didn't see anything wrong in what she said. She'd already said that she struggles a bit to sort of give herself to somebody and open up as a person. But it was made into a bit of a thing and she wrote a poem. But I've got to say, Dave, I think they're great together, them two. I really do. And Josh, forgive her. But again, fucking Eden and that just winded him up. It made it even worse, I think.
Yeah, so, I mean, Josh and Amelia, I don't know if it's people getting into Josh's head about... A few people have said that Amelia's playing a game. And I think that the fact that she sort of didn't really say much, I didn't pick up on that she didn't say much, but it was this small thing as far as I was concerned that seemed to become this big thing, that she wasn't really asked, she wasn't really invested at all, and that, she wasn't being authentic. And so, it's become this thing, and Amelia's apologized for it. Like I say, she ended up writing a poem, but I mean, even if she was playing a game, then she would do something like that, wouldn't she? To go above and beyond. I think it's more that, they don't have the greatest foundations. And I think, in fact, who was it? Was it Taylor who said about Josh and Amelia? I think she was talking to Grant, and then she said, I think they're both playing the game, which was quite interesting. And so, who knows? But I don't know. You like this couple, dear? I'm lukewarm on them, Chris. To be honest, agnostic. I just don't really care one way or the other.
I think what it is, Dave, like Josh has been good until he sort of got in this little triangle with Eden and Dom. Amelia, I think she's a nice girl. I just think, could she be playing a game? Yes, she could. We've seen it many a time. As soon as this finishes, they dump, the person they're with. How many times have we seen that? You think we're watching Love's Young Dream and we're watching going, oh my God, it's amazing. They're going to be together for life. And then like a week later, they've parted ways, just mutually parted ways or whatever the fucking press usually say. But I think what pissed me off more, Dave, and honestly, Dom and Eden for me tonight were just a pair of cocks. Dom, when he was laughing at Amelia, she'd written something. All right, she's with makeup pen. I didn't like the way she was felt she was forced into having to do something to react to Josh. It should have just been a private conversation. I know, obviously, it's on TV. We're going to see that. But the others just like egging her on and that. And she did it. But Dom was a complete cock, Dave. They're laughing and that. Not even funny. And Shelby, to be fair, was saying to him, just shut up, stop fucking laughing loud, leave him. He's just being a dickhead completely for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I'd nailed my colours to the mast a few days ago, hadn't I? I said, Eden and Dom are just a pair of bully boys, and you can tell that they're those jocks. They like to gang up on people and make their snide comments and stuff, and don't like him at all. So.
No,
I'm thinking yesterday's Joe's voicemail. It's like, the series is brilliant, but can we have no one win? Because they're all a bunch of see you next Tuesdays. Those are my words, not Joe's, by the way. But...
I know. Yeah.
Speaking of which, the biggest see you next Tuesday, I think. So, I mean, we get that scene in the bedroom, don't we, where Eden's basically going on about Millie sleeping with this I think it said a football player, but I couldn't tell if it was a football player, rugby player, Aussie rules football, whatever, some sort of sportsman. But Grant was just sort of making it a big thing, and bringing it up with Mark and stuff, and it really seemed to get to Mark, didn't it?
It was out of order because I think Millie tried to say it was Mark being paranoid, but also Millie was like laughing it off. And even Erin said to fucking Eden, shut up, stop being a dick and bringing it up. He's just out of order. Just again, it's the Teddy situation again. He's threatened by Mark coming in and taking his alpha male role. Not necessarily Erin. I don't think he'd even bother going near her because of Eden, but it's just he doesn't like when someone comes in. He like feels threatened. It's like a lion. Like for instance, Dave, this sounds daft. I watched The Sopranos last night. I've not never watched it. I've been raving about it to you, and me and Sam have literally blitzed it. We're in the final season now, and there's a scene there where, spoilers, Tony Soprano's been shot. He's feeling threatened, and all his crew are there, all these like gangsters, and there's one guy who's like the toughest of the lot, this big meathead, gear like steroid head, and he decides to pick a fight with him and levers him just to say, I'm still the man, even though you've seen me in these vulnerable positions in hospital for weeks and that. And don't ever remember, just remember where, you come to have your food sort of thing, which is great to watch on TV. And that's what Eden's doing to a lesser extent. Obviously, he's not fucking levering him, but he's just puffing his chest out. And it just comes across as wrong. It's not funny. And Millie don't give a fuck. She will tell him straight. I just don't think Millie's analysis of Mark was necessarily correct, because I think Mark was quite within his rights, because he didn't react to it. He just went, I'm not even reacting to it. It's just Eden being a dick. And it
Yeah.
was, again, another fucking moment in this last couple of episodes. Eden, I don't know what's up with him, but he's definitely going for the win, Dave. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean the mask is dropping, I think, isn't it? I think that might be what it is. I think, most blokes would be like Mark, but Millie, well, I, she's told him basically just ignore it, and it puts you in a negative light as well, to be honest. And then so that's it. That's the end of it. So I think she's sort of done the right thing there, because I think at least that whole football player thing, but I do think Mark, he's called it right. He went over and had a word with Grant. Again, I'm telling you, Chris, these divides between the boys, this is the most interesting thing. Fuck the couple shit.
Yep.
So yeah, so Mark's kind of aligned himself with Grant's side now. And so, again, I'm intrigued where that goes. But yeah, hopefully between Millie and Mark, we get to see at the end of the episode, we'll see how that relationship develops. Still not massively bought in, if I'm honest. I just think Millie hasn't got a fucking clue what she wants. Mark just happens to be there, and he's basically the only ticket she's got to stay in the villa. So, let's see. I'm slightly cynical with them too. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the nursing challenge?
They all look really good, boys and girls. They were very, some of the girls look stunning, Dave. I've got to say, Shelby especially look really stunning. However, what do you do? You've got this couple who love a fucking argument with each other. They're passionate together, but when one of them pisses the other one off, we get to know about it. So Eden decides to put his arm around Millie just to wind Erin up. And we can get a kick off, Dave. I mean, it was resolved pretty quick. However, they're just a pair of fucking wind ups, them two, aren't they? Absolute pair of wind ups.
Yeah, do you think he did it specifically to wind up Erin, or just, it's a bit of playful, you know, horsing around, and then Erin's like, that's it, it's over. Eden's crossed the line. Eden's crossed the line. Oh, are you fucking kidding me? For fuck's sake. And I'd said, hadn't I, a few days ago that they are going to continue to blow up, and eventually the whole laughing to diffuse an argument will wear thin, and it won't work anymore, and they
Yeah.
won't be able to resolve it. They're too fiery to be together long term, and I thought this might be it, but sure enough, somehow he ends up getting her to laugh, and then that's the end of it. But they don't actually resolve it. She fucking hates Millie. She's trying to, not create a drama out of it each day. But definitely, I do think, Eden does have a bit of a thing for Millie, so I think she possibly is picking up on that. What do you reckon?
I agree. I'd put that in my nose, actually. I think Eden has got somewhat, because he's always picking her up. We've had the crotch shot incident as well, haven't we? Like,
Yeah,
Millie's I'm trying to fucking
the
word this in a
JJ
nice
and
way.
his schnoz.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and his schnoz, yeah. We're a bit too close. And obviously, he's done this again. And I think it's one of two things. He knows that she hates her. So to wind her up, just to be a wind up, just go around Millie, talk to Millie, put his arm around Millie. that's gonna fucking get her back up straight away. Whether he finds it great that they have an argument, then when they meet, they sort of make up. He's quite passionate, and maybe he likes that side of it. I don't know, but then there is the side of me, Dave, is saying exactly the same as you, saying he's got something for her. Definitely, I think there's something there because he's very touchy feely around her, and
Yeah,
I think what it is he doesn't hate her as much as what Erin does. I don't think he hates her at all, but because of
yeah.
Erin, he's got to go along with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we get to the end of the episode, then I think that touchy feeliness might be going out the window a bit. But yeah, I think you're right. I think if if he wasn't coupled up with Erin and she wasn't quite so fiery, then I think something might have happened there. But yeah, I think I again, I can't find anything redeemable about either of them in this scenario, though, Eden or Erin. Eden, if he is doing it just to wind her up, he's a bit of a cock for that. And then she just throws a dummy, spits a dummy as soon as, he gets near Millie. So, yeah, just pair of idiots. And I did think it was funny because Grant and Teddy were just fucking laughing their heads off, weren't they? You could
Yeah, they were
hear it.
crying.
Yeah.
They were crying. He made it worse. Teddy had a fucking
Yeah.
face mask on, didn't he? He was crying. I love Teddy, and I love that relationship
Yeah.
between him and Grant, Dave. It's very, very genuine. They're really, really two good guys together. And I love that for Teddy because you don't find love, which obviously by the end of the episode we realise he's not going to find love, but he's found a friend there. And I
Yeah.
think that's the main thing. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I agree. I got the same thing as well. I really like that relationship, Grant and Teddy and how it's developed, and they are funny, together. I guess it's probably developed a bit more, hasn't it, since Jackson went? Before
Yeah.
that, Teddy and Jackson were quite close, but I don't know. Grant and Teddy seem just a bit more chill and a bit more on the same wavelength. Like Jackson was still jumping around like a jumping bean, wasn't he? A bit.
Yeah.
His energy was different to Teddy's, but no, I do like that pair. And like you say, when someone's laughing that hysterically, you can't help but chuckle yourself, or I certainly couldn't.
Yeah, I was laughing. No, I was laughing myself. I love that. When someone's gone, look at us when we did the episode with Asa, and we had to cut out me laughing. I was laughing for a good maybe 5 minutes, like non-stop. That wasn't even the half of what we put in the show because I just couldn't. I don't know why. I just couldn't stop laughing. I know Asa took all the credit for saying he was being funny, but he wasn't being that funny. It was just something tickled me, and I was gone, completely gone. So I get it. I love that. It's very infectious with people.
Yeah,
I tell you what though, Dave. So this episode's been great. So we've talked about it, motored through. We get to about 40 minutes in because I think this run at about 58 minutes, and the last 18 minutes were just pure gold. I mean, we had proper shit going on. So it's a recoupling. It ends up it's going to be Teddy or Mac, or it's going to be Millie and Mark. One thing I'll say in defense of what you said about Millie and Mark was slightly right what Eden was saying. However, the other four couples have then got to go off on their own, decide who they want to go off. And I'll give Taylor and Grant credit, because you could see that Grant did not want to send Teddy home.
yeah,
However, he knew that if he'd done an errand like Erin did with fucking Cassidy, who just kept fucking bouncing back like Zebedee, who just kept, just because she was a mate,
yeah,
Erin was like making all the girls vote for her. Grant was very uncomfortable. However, as you say, Dave, and I'm nicking your quote, it's not Friendship Island, it's fucking Love Island. And they made the right decision, Taylor and Grant. So when they were sat together and Erin and Eden were doing the usual bollocks, like trying to sort of pose and preen and get their point across, and everyone had to go with them, Taylor wasn't having it. However, Eden straight away just looked at Grant and went, "What the fuck are you looking at? Don't look like that."
yeah.
You can see Grant bubbling, as if to say, "You fucking twat." And then Taylor put her arm across. However, I don't think Grant should have brought Cassidy up, Dave, because that just escalated it completely.
Yeah.
It was great to watch.
It was, and I don't think that's exclusively my quote. That one, Chris, about Friendship Island. I think I
It is.
picked it up off the show at some point, but I think you know what, Chris. Apart from the rugged good looks and cracking body, and obviously youth, I see more and more of Grant, and I see a bit of me in him. Not in a sexual way, obviously, but but he's in that group setting. I think I'd be inclined to listen a lot more than I talk. Someone like Eden will talk a lot more than he'll listen, and but you could tell, Taylor had said to him, prepped him before, just let me do the talking and whatever, and I'd be quite happy. But I would be fucking sat there stewing, and then when someone else is talking utter bollocks, I've got no poker face, and I would just be like, oh, fuck off. I know I wouldn't utter any words at all. I would just have it written across my face, unable to hold it back. But then when attacked, I, am susceptible to just fucking, be chill, 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 and then go the other way and say something fucking stupid and escalate the whole fucking thing. So, and when he said to Erin about, oh, it's just like you when you told Cassidy to pick me and stuff, he was wrong, wasn't he? Because she
Yeah.
didn't actually do that. Now, what I would say is he's not 100% wrong. And, Erin was gleefully in the diary room saying, "Oh, I've created this monster." And without Erin's influence, Cassidy wouldn't have done that. But precisely, she didn't tell him. She didn't tell Cassidy to pick him. She could have talked her down, but she didn't do that. So he did accuse her of something that she didn't actually technically do, and then that was it. It just fucking, it just got worse and worse, didn't it? And so the couples had. I mean, we've skipped over, haven't we? Who chose who? I mean, I'll come back to that in a
Yeah.
sec, but that was brilliant. And when they were fucking going at each other again, I was like, oh, I knew it was fucking bubbling up again, and I was like, fucking just go for each other, fucking get it out your system. But they ended up all separating, didn't they? Because they were tasked with, you have to come up with a unanimous vote. And I think, to be
Yeah.
honest, the producers should have just fucking locked him in a room and said that you don't come out until you have that unanimous vote. Because Eden was like, as soon as he's threatened, that's it. The chest pumps out. He sticks his neck out and everything. It's proper fucking peacocking, isn't he? And he's saying to like Dom and Shelby and that and Erin, no one changes their mind. We're not budging at all. It's like, oh, that's fucking great, that Eden. Well done.
Yeah, he's a cock, Dave, an absolute cock. And then what made it worse is when they come back, Grant and Taylor were there, and they said, "Look, Mac and Teddy." They picked Mac and Teddy, and then Ian and Erin. They did the speech like it was going to be Mac and Teddy, and then picked Millie and Mark. And I do think what Eden said to Grant was correct. He did say, Grant, you've got to realise that she's every guy that's come in, this has been the one for her. And we've even called her out on that. So I
Mm,
don't, as much as I think Eden's an absolute cock, especially in this episode, he was right what he was saying. He said, I don't, like what you just said, I don't believe it's genuine.
mm.
I think it's just for the show. So I think that side of it was good, but the way he carried himself after that, he just fucked himself completely. And that speech at the end was utter horseshit, Dave. I mean, absolute bullshit from China. The complete nonsense. The whole, these two could develop into something. There's about as much chemistry between fucking them two as the fucking my dog shit on the garden, Dave. That garden. It's absolute nonsense. It's just utter crap. They were just game playing, and I give Millie credit. She was great because she went, well, we all know who's playing games now, which then fucking lit the torch paper again for Dom and Eden to go at her. And I think it was Erin. He made me say, but what some of them said, hey, whoa, whoa, guys, it's three against one here, and they had to fucking walk off, didn't they?
Three,
Because Grant had already gone.
yeah, three blokes surrounding one
Yeah,
girl.
exactly.
Again,
I don't
fucking
know.
bullying, Chris. They don't
It
even
is.
know they're doing it, but they're just wired to be that way. It just
Mm.
fucking winds me up.
Yeah, and Dom's becoming a bit like Eden's. I don't know if I'm going to use a line I used in our VHS Strikes Back podcast, Dave. Or no, sorry, Comics in Motion. Dom's pretty much at the moment becoming Eden's fluffer because all Eden has to do is fucking roll over and have a shit, and he's there with the toilet paper, isn't he? Because he's fucking you don't want to upset him. It's pathetic watching it. It really is. It's like, come on, guys. Dom doesn't seem to have a personality at all or anything.
No, like I say, he's in that jock crowd. Usually, you can tell kind of outside the villa, and he'll quite happily stand there and bully, the smaller, weaker ones. So, yeah, I think I was, on the one hand, Chris, I was kind of like looking through my fingers when Millie was having a little pot shot about the game playing at the end there. I was thinking, oh fucking hell, just leave it. But on the other hand, I'm like, fucking yeah, stir the pot, call them out
Yeah, me too.
because now I could almost buy. I mean, if Erin just came out and said, "Look, I fucking hate Millie. I will do anything to get rid of her off the island." Fine. Then make your voting based on that. But pretending
Yeah,
like it's something about the couple, I think that rubs me up the wrong way. But I mean, Shelley and Dom know that they just need to cling on to dear life for as long as they can because they've got fucking no chance. And by getting rid of an what looks like on the face of it an actual couple, they'd stand a better chance than because the next day you can get rid of the friendship couple. Whereas if you get rid of the friendship couple first, then Shelby and Dom are probably one of the next ones to go. And
yeah,
so, I think it's difficult, isn't it? I think
yeah.
I tell you what though, Chris, I can't fucking wait till tomorrow because we get to see, you know, we get to see on the next, tomorrow night we get to see Grant. He brushes past Eden in the kitchen, and that's fucking lit the touch paper again, and so it's all going to go off. It looks like Grant has stormed off, probably off the villa or something. So, oh, Chris, I can't wait, and I can't believe there's only 3 episodes left.
I told you it was good. I think the thing is, though, Dave, as well, and it's fucking great that is people have just had enough of their antics. And I will call myself out for something I've just said, actually. I'm just thinking about this as you're talking. Eden's there, and most people do the same. They're all passing judgment on like who's a real couple, who's not a real couple. We don't know how this plays out after the show or whatever. However, how genuine is Erin and Eden? How genuine is Shelby and Dom? How genuine is Taylor and Grant? They're like saying just because they're classed as a couple, and I'm doing the old quotation,
Yeah.
you know, you can't see me, but doing that to sort of have that decision over other people and then look down on them. I don't necessarily think that's right. However, that is Love Island 101. So, yeah, Dave, seeing that at the end with Grant, I forgot all about it. I'm not saying a word. Fucking brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, can't wait for tomorrow. Now, Chris, we have had a message came through on our Instagram, and this is from Shan.ElizabethX. It says, guys, I'm absolutely loving your recent coverage of our Love Island Australian Season 1. So much of that series escaped my mind watching it 2 years ago, but you guys have brought it all back, and your point of view on them is hysterical. Keep up the good work. So thanks very much for that. Always good to have a bit of feedback. It sounds like someone who's watched it a couple of years ago in probably the same time as you, Chris, and then has come back to listen to us again. So really appreciate that.
I tell you what, though, Dave, and I know, no, I'm going to say something now and put you on the spot. We've not even discussed this, but there could be an argument, Dave, to go back and watch some of the original UK Love Islands.
I
And
fucking
I'm
knew
not
it.
so sure.
I knew it. In that Chandler style. It's
Yeah.
fucking around now. When we're like, the finish line is right there. It's like you're doing a marathon and you're about the 20-mile mark, and you're like, for fuck's sake, I can get my days back, I can get my evenings back, and you go, how about this other series?
Such a bad friend, I know.
You're predictable, sunshine. So
I know. Even off the podcast, we've got that many fucking podcasts going. It's like we're both looking forward to the break, and I'm just throwing this in there. But
Well, I think I'd said so. I'm not averse to it, right? As usual, I will say, let's have a break and then we'll revisit it. But I think I told you, didn't I? I started to watch the first UK Love Island series, and with Caroline Flack on there, and like a lot of the guys, because it was the first season, they were kind of ogling her, and they thought she was the first girl, and making some not making some leery comments and stuff. It was a bit uncomfortable watching, to be honest.
yeah,
But I
it's
I do know, isn't it sort of season 3? I seem to remember people. It's either 2 or 3. I remember people tweeting that that was peak Love Island and all the drama and drinks getting thrown around and stuff.
2 and 3, Dave, without a doubt. 2 and 3 are my favourite UK ones, without, honestly. Head and shoulders above anything else. So some of the shit that was going on there and the kickoffs were brilliant.
Yeah.
So very similar to this Aussie one. The Aussie one I think is still my favourite, but UK season 2 and 3 were brilliant.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as PC as it is now, as in, they're not worried about what's going to happen on the outside, so people just didn't like you, they just tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to get into that at some point, and we don't have to do it every day, but it's something we could definitely go back and look at.
Yeah,
It's a big
definitely.
commitment,
Definitely.
and it's longer the UK one. It's usually 40 odd episodes, so there's a big difference. This is 30, so yeah. All right. Anyway, if you want to contact us, guys, at cdrealitycast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. Dave, classic, mate. I'm so happy, and I cannot wait for tomorrow, my friend.
Me too. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.